Look, I am aware that this man will always be labelled as the prince that never became king, the guy who could have been better than Messi and Cristiano if he had just worked harder, one of the biggest what-ifs in history despite being such a world-class player. But this video isn't meant to be about proving why those labels are right or wrong. I'm not here to, convince people that Neymar is the greatest of all time by any chance. I'm just here to simply appreciate what he is, and that is one of the most talented, entertaining and influential players of all time. And although the stats are certainly there to prove his greatness, I believe that it serves him more justice as a player if we instead appreciate the intangible qualities he had as a player, because as much as he strove to be great, he would always make sure to put on a show for the fans first. Now, when it comes to flair and trickery, no one at the time came close to Neymar. No one nowadays comes close to Neymar. Because as I said before, the flair at the top level of Brazilian football is a dying art, with the likes of Vini, Cunha and Estevao trying to preserve it the best they can, but not quite reaching the levels that Brazilian football was at before. And though Neymar's era did serve us some entertaining Brazilian ballers like Coutinho, Douglas Costa, Oscar, or even, Bobby Firmino a bit later, Neymar was so clearly the most entertaining player of the bunch, like there was no contest really. And this was present all the way back when he was at Santos as well, which you could argue was his most entertaining period, probably because firstly, defenses were, with all due respect, much weaker in that league than in Europe, and also, Brazilian football is all about entertainment and fun, and that's why Neymar was allowed to put on the best show every time he entered the pitch. Like there was a reason why he was able to finish top 10 in the Ballon d'Or in 2011, even when he was in the Brazilian league, because the guy's level was simply so clear of everyone else in that league that he almost seemed like the best player in the world at times. Like he'd be doing skills that everyone was doing at the time, but in ways that others have never done before. Like who the hell flicks the ball over someone with the sole of their foot? How do you even build the instinct to do that in the moment? And it wasn't just that, it was the roulettes, the rainbow flicks, the back heels, and oh my god, this guy was taking everyone to Nutmeg City. No one was safe from Neymar's nutmegs at the time. And even later in his career at Barcelona and PSG, he still kept doing all that because his style is just pure joy and entertainment. He wanted to win, but only in the most flamboyant style. And the penalties as well, his penalties were so uniquely entertaining to watch, and what I mean by that is that he took away all the tension around penalties because we knew he was always going to score, so to make them exciting again, he just added his own pizzazz. Like he created his own penalty technique where he suddenly stopped after the run-up to wait for the keeper to dive before he shot, and that penalty was so cracked that they literally had to ban it because he had essentially found a cheat code to penalties. And even when they took that away, his penalties were still so entertaining to watch because of how easy they looked. Like I've never seen a guy make penalties look so soothing like Neymar. You'd never see him rifle or smash it in. It would always be a gentle one where he almost always perfectly reads where the keeper is going to dive before effectively just passing his shot into the opposite direction. Like it's humiliating for the keeper really. It's stuff like this that stats can't quantify, the rainbow flicks, the roulettes, the fun penalties, the signature first touch that he always pulled off, and it just made for pure peak every time he played. And he was especially entertaining when he was confident. Like that 17-18 season at PSG, he was so damn good that it was borderline arrogance what he was doing to defenders sometimes, because this was a Neymar that had something to prove. He wanted to be the best player in the world. He wanted to get out of Messi's shadow. He wanted to win, and that drive to do so didn't hide his flair, but instead made that flair louder and more polished if anything. And this flair was only coupled with how complete he was as a technical footballer, because guys, I'm not exaggerating when I say that this guy had absolutely everything to his game technically. The flair was just the spice he added on top of all that. And I think the best part of Neymar's technical game was his dribbling, because this guy was just smooth, man. Dare I say, his dribbling looked smoother than Messi's dribbling at times, I'm not kidding. Despite being quite small and scrawny, he had such balance, agility and ability to him that he was able to get out of most situations by simply outsmarting his defenders and being good on the ball. He was a world-class dribbler, and only players like Messi and Hazard could compare with him at the time in that aspect. And although he was as smooth as those two players, it was almost a different style of dribbling with Neymar, because the way Messi dribbled, for example, it was like he was just smarter than everyone else. Like every touch seemed so intentional and planned, but with Neymar, it was almost like everything was instinctual with him. It's not like he's 2 steps ahead of everyone like Messi is, but Neymar's instinctive awareness in the moment is just unmatched in my opinion. And there's proof of this as well, because in 2014, Eiichi Naito and Satoshi Hirose conducted a study where they scanned Neymar's brain activity, and one of their conclusions from analyzing Neymar's brain was that Neymar recruits very limited neural resources in the motor cortical foot regions during foot movements, and it's further reported that his brain activity during a match is less than 10% of amateur footballers. So get this guys, all the clips you've seen of Neymar humiliating defenders, he was basically doing all that on autopilot. Like, it was that easy for him. That's why he always looked so effortless doing it, because it was just that natural for him. And it's not surprising, because the guy grew up in Brazil where he was playing on concrete streets barefoot, so his foot to ball connection was second to none. And he also played a lot of futsal, which is no surprise because futsal involves a smaller court, a heavier ball, and pretty much constant 1v1 situations in tight spaces. And this basically forced Neymar to develop his technique and speed of thought whilst playing. Like, it forced him to improvise to the highest degree, whilst also developing his ability to do that with both feet. The way he dribbled had a rhythm to it, like he was basically dancing, because he was so good at controlling the tempo of his dribbling. Like, he's very good at slowing down and speeding up the pace of his dribbles in order to deceive defenders to come at him, only for him to just skillfully skip past them with ease. And he was quite fast too, like he had some pace to him, but that's just not what his game relied upon at all, because the way he was brought up playing football, he focused more on using skill and technique to get past his defenders as opposed to just pure speed and athleticism, and that's what I really appreciate about him. And then in tight spaces, he was just unstoppable, and that's once again that futsal upbringing that allowed him to become so good at that. Like, even though many players were much bigger and stronger than him, he just used his trickery and quick thinking to get out of those situations almost every single time, whether it was a quick 1-2, a nutmeg, a flick. I mean, the guy's Brazilian. You should never doubt his ability to surprise you with how he gets out of these situations at times. I mean, similar to Messi, it got to the point where the only thing defenders could do was foul him, and this was especially evident when he was in Ligue 1 with PSG. That's why he got so many injuries. Neymar's dribbling was the perfect mix of flair and efficiency in my opinion, and that's why I love that part of him so much. And then to match that, you've also got his passing, and this is where I truly think he matches Messi in my opinion, because his awareness and vision was just world class. And there's one thing being able to see a pass, but to be able to execute it as well with the perfect weight each time is another thing, and that's what makes this part of his game comparable to Messi in my opinion. And I didn't realize his creativity was this good until he went to PSG, because at Barcelona, I knew he was great at creating chances, but he also always had many other players around him who were just as good as him when it came to creating chances. But when he moved to PSG in 2017, he became their talisman, he became their fulcrum basically, their chief creator in the team, and that's when I realized how good Neymar was at passing. And just like his dribbling, he was able to also pass efficiently with both feet. His playmaking basically had no limits, so even if you show him to his supposedly weaker left side, he could still create with his left foot just as good as he can with his right foot. And honestly, Neymar should have had way more assists in his career, because the amount of chances that the likes of Mbappe and Cavani missed, for example, was criminal. Like, they never showed up for him when he needed them the most in my opinion. And his completeness didn't just come in open play as well, because I mentioned before how good he was at penalties. Surely he's not good at free kicks as well, right? Of course he is. I mean, if there wasn't already enough to his game, for God's sake. I think at Barcelona, he just couldn't take as many free kicks as he'd like because they had Messi, but whenever he was allowed to, especially when the free kick was just outside the box on that left-hand side, he was fairly consistent with it, and he even scored some important ones like the one against PSG that inspired the remontada. But when he played for Brazil and PSG, that was when his free kick taking ability was most apparent, because there was no Messi to take most of the free kicks. He was the best free kick taker at Brazil and PSG, so all the responsibility fell onto him. And I think that's when Neymar performs best in my opinion, when the biggest responsibilities fall on him. Hell, even at Santos he was good at free kicks. I mean, as I said before, the guy was just a natural entertaining footballer who was just built on fun. And that fun brand was solely his, because what Ronaldinho was in the 2000s, Neymar arguably was in the 2010s. Like, Neymar's brand of stylish, flamboyant swagger, that brand captivated so many people in the 2010s, including me. I mean, the hypervenoms, the hairstyles, the fashion, the lavish lifestyle. He was a superstar on and off the pitch. He was the epitome of Brazilian flair, and that image was so fun that everyone wanted to be like him. And I think I speak for many people, especially kids at the time during the 2010s, that when we were playing football and the way we carried ourselves outside of football, a lot of us wanted to be more like Neymar than we did Messi or Cristiano, and that is just a testament to how iconic Neymar is as a footballer. And I think everyone especially wanted to be like him because he represented youth culture as a younger, more eccentric player at the time. And he also embraced the swagger and personality of street football that was more representative of the general common people, and that's why those very people were more enthralled by him than the athletic and determined brand of Cristiano or the genius and pure footballing brand of Messi, for example. It's why when you ask a lot of younger players nowadays who their idol is, they would say Neymar. Like, I can give you a short list right now. I mean, you've got Lamine Yamal, Desiree Doué, Jamal Musiala, Kvic Kvaratskhelia, Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Rafinha, Estevao, Xavi Simons. The list just goes on really. All these players idolized Neymar. I think because the Messi-Cristiano debate has been going on for so long, none of us had really had the chance to appreciate Neymar because the guy was just iconic when it came to everything, both on and off the pitch. And again, Like I said at the start of the video, there will always be people undermining his legacy because of what he supposedly could have been. But I didn't want to disprove any of that in this video. I basically just wanted to glaze Neymar. I wanted to appreciate Neymar for everything great that he was, and I hope that you guys share the same sentiment for him as well after this video. And if there ever was a time to cement his legacy, it would be, if he was selected of course, in the upcoming 2026 World Cup in America with Brazil, which I've also made a video about, by the way, so you can check that out if you like. But man, would I love for him to win that World Cup just for himself, really. I think he really deserves it as a goodbye gift when he retires very soon. But anyways, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you'd like to see more content like this. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video.